the pre-production meeting, I believe it was Daniel Miller and Alan Wilder who had to take responsibility for this. Somebody suggested, how about turning it into a disco song? Right, okay. And you, Flo? You can make it happen, can't you? So, let's move location. We've gone from the glamour of Milan, past phase one. Personal Jesus, it's in the knapsack, it's mixed. Francois Kevorkian did an amazing job. We've done about 3 songs, we've had big ructions, scrapped loads of stuff, and then started to hit our stride with experimentation. Anyway, so now we're in Denmark, and we are right in the north of Denmark, in the middle of nowhere. There are fields and flies. That is it. Nothing else. And the studio, yeah. But most of the time we'd be sat in the bedrooms like, oh, it was honestly the middle of nowhere. You couldn't do a thing. So, except work, which was a really good thing because Milan had been distracting, I think is the diplomatic word. So, anyway, so we'd done a couple of songs and then it was time to hack in to enjoy the silence. So I said, well, why don't we just copy an old disco classic, the rhythm of it. So we started off doing that. Let me just see if I can loop this over. So here's the beginning of it. And again, it's, I think Martin, you could say, was dubious about the whole idea. So it was a bit like, okay, come on then, prove it. So, but that was good, because what that did was add a real tension. So that adds an edge that's like an undercurrent to the whole thing. And that's something that becomes the art side of things, being aware that that's happening and trying to make it a situation that's creative rather than necessarily being everybody's having a massive fight and nothing gets done. Don't worry about that. So we start off with that. Now, one of the major things that I brought to the session was not guitars, was not like working with all these rock bands. I'd actually just purchased a massive, great big new modular system, synthesizers. A real boy's toy. It was amazing. So we'd set it up in Denmark, and the band finally got to sort of have a play around with it. And so they're playing around with it, and lo and behold, to this drum beat. There you go. Okay. There is disco in the house. Martin. It's not my kind of disco. I'm sorry, Martin, I'm so sorry. Yeah. He's probably got a lot of things to get back in there anyway. So, you got the bass line and you go, well, this is great. You move into the chords. I won't go into that, it's deadly dull. But then, okay, well, is there something else to add a little bit more sort of melodic information that's quite interesting? Really uplifting, but it's actually quite melancholic. So that already you get this, is it a sad song? Is it a happy song? So it's up, you want to dance, so you'll be happy. But it's actually quite a sad song. So this is good. Martin's now winning. But Martin, rest of the band, me. Okay, so get a good start. Alright, we need a top line. We need a melody. Martin, go on, give us a melody. I'll autograph. Cool, please, just for me. So, goes to us in and starts plinking plonking away on the worst sound in the world. But, to Alan Wilder's credit, after Martin was going around for ages, just went, stop, that's brilliant. But you're not playing it on that. What can we play it on? What do you think, love? How about a guitar? No, I don't want to do that. We're a synth band. Go on, Mark, you're a really good guitar player. Well, give me an interesting sound. So, we spent a good half a day playing around with different sounds, different guitars, and then, well, you all know how it goes. Yeah, 2, 3. And then suddenly everybody's engaged. It must, you know, it's like, now we've got a really strong song on our hands. And then it just adds bits that you're missing, like a bit of chordal information. This might be a bit out of time, but... And there we go. That's the basis of the song that you know and like. But then it probably only took about 2 days to get the bulk of the song recorded, vocals included. And then we came back to London and I thought the song sounded too empty, which was a bit bright coming from me, who usually like, stop putting all that stuff on it, take it away. And they, to their credit, said, no, we just need to put a brass band, or sounding brass band and a bit of a choir at the end, and then it's done. So we did it, and then Francois mixed it, and it really wasn't very good. And then Francois mixed it again, and it still wasn't very good. And that happens sometimes. Somebody who's outside of the project may not actually understand what the intent is behind it. And so what actually happened in the end was Daniel said the rough mix that had been done 6 months previous at the end of the session in Denmark, that he had fallen in love with that, and we went and sat in the studio for 3 days copying a cassette of a rough mix that I'd done, really pissed off at about 12 o'clock at night, sitting there going, no, just a little, no, quick, check the cassette, okay, here we are in this massive studio, and that's what the finished version is. It's just a copy of the cassette. I even at one point was just going, Dan, let's just put the cassette out, nobody will notice. But anyway, the reason for showing you this song was this was very much about art at work. There was the craftsmanship was there to back it up. It was all about people reacting to situations, some that they wanted to be in, some that they didn't want to be in. And it's such an amazing piece of music. Sort of didn't know how it ended up like it did, which when you're doing great things like that, it sort of arrives. You've been in this special space and you don't know how you got to the end, but there it is, waiting with a little ribbon around it. And that was amazing. And I think that's really the summation of like what I want to say, is that art and making music is about both things, art and craft. They have to work hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other. Sometimes it's more artistry, sometimes it's more craft, but you can make great music, but you have to have both. Thank you. If anybody wants any questions.